Hello and welcome to From Chaos to Country, the Mama Moody Moodcast. That's a lot of words. I don't know. Listen, today's episode is sponsored by coffee. Sorry for the slurping on the audio. Today, I went to an open mic last night and man, when I get home at midnight, waking up is a lot different now. I will get into the whole open mic scene and the differences between California and Georgia. It's actually really awesome, really fun, very supportive. But I'm not at that part yet of comparing the two places yet. So I want to stay on track because literally I want to do the podcast, but when you have a million things to do, like you have like so many things to do, like you have to make phone calls, you have to clean up, you have to do all that, but you have to do this too. But you're thinking about the other things that you have to do, so you have to try and stay in the moment, and you're like, okay. And then I realized, oh my god, you guys, I started laundry and I don't want that violent spin cycle to start, so I'm like, I gotta speed it up, I gotta go, we gotta get our points out. Thank god it's just 10 minutes. I've got about probably 9 minutes till it gets violently spinning. Okay, where are we in the relocation? Last week I had my friend Nadia here. She put in an application for a property to rent for now. I think that's the direction she's going to go with her family. Their plan to get out here is by middle of June. That would be awesome. She's coming back again, so we'll have her on again. What I wanted to talk about now is, let's say you've picked your place. You and your partner or yourself have gone, you know what, I want to pick this particular city and town. We visited it, we loved it. Or you visited surrounding areas and you love the vibe. You find a town that's a little more affordable, but still within close to a city. Like, I'm 40 miles from Atlanta. So last night the open mic was in Atlanta, and coming home, it only took me 33 minutes. So that's not bad, personally. Some might seem like that's long, but it really wasn't. So here's a couple things. If you're buying with somebody or renting or just doing a big relocation, I did one by myself. So everything that I had to figure out was just me. Now, that could be overwhelming for some people, but also you literally don't have to consider anybody else's opinions. It's like what you want, right? So when I moved from New York to LA, shoot, I didn't even have a place to stay. I stayed on my sister's couch for like a month or two till it's a whole nother story. My comedy mentor, some of you know, was Lisa Lampanelli. So she's like, do you want to get an apartment? And we ended up getting an apartment together. That's a whole nother podcast. This is my comedy journey. This is my life journey. That was my comedy journey. Yeah, it's all one big journey, right? So anyway, my point is that I was able to kind of have that flexibility when I had just me. So if you're like, I'm going to relocate, make sure you really like the person. just make sure you're not making any, red flags, red roses is all I'm saying. Okay, especially if you're buying, because if you're renting, it's a lot easier to get out of that than when you're buying. So my husband said to me, listen, it's going to be a stressful process. And I think that's really good to have a conversation with whoever you're buying with, to be like, this is stressful, or yourself even, because it is stressful. I did a lot of work on looking for places, and we had a fantastic realtor, Carissa. She's great. She's a friend of ours. I met her through this process through a friend of mine. It was her daughter. It was great. We'll get to that. But one of the things I would definitely suggest is knowing what you want. Like, if you're buying, know what your like bottom lines are. Like Chris was like, I want a garage. And me, I needed a backyard. That was awesome. And the kitchen had to be good because I cook a lot. And I if you've seen some of my TikToks, like I could take reach cabinets. That's how small my kitchen was. Ugh. God, I don't miss that kitchen. Anyway, so we had a spreadsheet of and the schools were really important for the kids, right? So, and he needed an office, and they needed their own rooms because they're a boy and a girl, and they're definitely not gonna need to share a room when they're getting older. Okay, so all that being said, it's a lot. So it's step by step, right? So you go, okay, I've decided I like this town. Let's start looking. Look at what your plan is. Are you able to buy? Or do you have to rent and then buy? There's no wrong way to do. Like, if you can buy, awesome. If you can rent and then buy eventually, awesome. Like, whatever works for you, but you have to look and be honest with where you're at. Now, we had Chris's 401k from the bank that he worked at. He was there for a long time. So we pulled from that in order to buy a house to invest. So some people might not want to do that, but honestly, we invested in a beautiful property, and it's something that will grow. So, you don't pull from a 401k to buy a car. You don't pull from a 401k to go on vacation. Personally, I wouldn't do that. But to buy a property, yes. And then my dad had gifted me some money too, which I didn't expect that, which was awesome. But, it's always like, I always like, ooh, should I ask my dad? It's, if you're from my generation, I feel like it's just hard to ask for help. Like, I love what millennials and Gen Zers are doing with, like, we're gonna take it easy and we're gonna get help when we need it. Us Xers are like, I will die before I ask for help. That's not healthy. Anyway, so I'm running out of time for my podcast today. So basically, you decided on where you want to go. Let's talk about what you're able to do. What's your plan? Can you do a first-time homeowner's loan? Do you have money for a down payment? Here's the thing too. I was lucky my husband's a numbers finance guy. I am not. There's terms that I was like, what, due diligence? Who's earnest? Like, earnest money, seasoned money? I don't know. Do we need salt? I don't know any of that shit. But Chris knows all of it. So for me, look, give me a mic and 5,000 people, I am like, pow, 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 pow. Some people would die on stage that day, not me. But you talk about, like, closing costs, and, like, there's, like, oh, it's not just that, and there's down payments and percentages and mortgage rates and buying your rate down, and I'm like, I'm sorry. No idea. Now, look, if I did not have a husband that knew the finance side and all that stuff, you best believe I'd be in Barnes and Nobles or the library getting How to Buy a House for Dummies. Because if I got to figure it out, that's why. If you don't have the resources in your mind for this, let's go on YouTube. Let's go to the library. There are so many resources out there that will help you figure things out. So, you're on the third step? Al-Anon joke? No. We're going to discuss next week what to put together for your spreadsheet, and then, I also like to navigate the feeling side of this stuff. I know people are like, there's no feelings, it's buying a house. There's a lot of big feelings. We're going to talk about that too, because I am airy-fairy with this stuff. Am I allowed to say that? Okay, anyway. There's a lot of big stuff that goes on with this. It's not just like, here it is. I mean, it is. But also, too, you can go into, like, escrow. It could take forever. What if you have, you're trying to navigate things? You have to look at all your resources. And that's what I'm here for. So we can discuss those resources. I am your person. If you don't know who I am, again, I'm Ro Delagrazzi, aka Mama Moody. Thank you for joining me. The spin cycle is about to start, so I'm going to go. Bye. See you next week.